Usually, at this time of year, we all come together for our partners meeting. Save COVID-19 had other ideas. Welcome to the new normal. Whilst, to quote the late great Vera Lynn, we will meet again, for this year caution is called for. Therefore, welcome to our virtual partners meeting, in which we hope to bring you up to date.
However, before talking about what has changed, our results and our plans for the future, we want to talk about the present. Not about coronavirus, but your absolutely astonishing response to it.
Whereas other homes have been having to contend with absentee rates of 33%, just 2% of you are furloughed, and for very good reasons. Others could have been, but decided not to, and all of you have gone way above and beyond what could have ever been expected of you.
We know from a national perspective, carers have a newfound respect, but none more so than amongst the families of our residents and clients. We get frequent emails in response to our COVID-19 newsletters, pretty much all of which express extreme gratitude and admiration for all that you're doing. For them, you have reached hero status. For us, we could not be more proud. Thank you.
As you know, this has been a year of changes. Jo threw her heart and soul into becoming our new CEO, but never managed to lose the designate part of her title. There were reasons for this, some of them personal, but it also became apparent how difficult it was for us to fill capabilities gaps from a distance. However, what a great role model she is. She started as a housekeeper, making it all the way to nearly becoming the CEO.
Her leaving meant we had to consider who came next. It was not a position that appealed to Kim, and the executive team, whilst recognising there were a number of potential future CEOs in our ranks, realised that no one was yet close enough to become the next designate CEO.
Our commitment to promoting internally whenever possible remains undiminished, but we had to concede that, on this occasion, we had to recruit externally. We therefore started a recruitment process.
We were immediately overwhelmed by the quality of the candidates. The company you have created with us, and which you will own half of before too long, was a home that a number of extraordinarily capable and experienced executives wanted to move to. Many were already running far larger companies than ours, but they saw something unique and appealing in Nightingales.
In the end, after shortlisting 2 candidates, the executive team unanimously decided to offer the position to Leo Murphy. Many of you will have met Leo, who is a very experienced CEO in his own right. He clearly shares our values and, more importantly, has great experience in growing companies. We believed he would be a safe pair of hands, and now that we have seen what he is capable of, still do.
Whilst we were looking at another 3 to 5 years to get Jo up to speed, Leo's experience means that we will be handing the reins over far more quickly, with a target date of this September. However, we will remain non-executive directors and frequent visitors.
You will also be aware that we have agreed to change the way the employee earn-out works. There were to be 2 parts, first the trading side of the company and then the property side, but the closer we got, the more apparent it became that this 2-stage process was going to be problematic.
When the trading side completed, you were to choose whether you then went forward to earn half the property side. This would have meant diverting the dividends you would have otherwise received as the new part owners of the trading side to fund this, or to stop there.
For newer members of staff, whose dividends would be smaller and were more likely to be around when the property earn-out completed, this was a great deal. But for longer-serving members of staff, who were likely to retire before this happened, it became obvious it was not. We risked creating our own version of Brexit over whether the property earn-out should go ahead.
The strategic change also impacted on the viability of the property earn-out. Jo and Kim had been putting a great deal of effort into finding land to build another home on, but it became apparent that we had no leverage with estate agents who were dealing with residential developers, buying tens of plots of land each year. We had to find another way forward.
This was to choose a development partner who would find plots for us, build homes to our specification, and then lease them back to us. Whilst in the past we have been a care and property company, the intention is that in the future we will therefore solely focus on providing care.
In preparation for the completion of the trading earn-out, we are therefore moving the 2 existing properties into a separate company so that when the trading earn-out completes, There will be no need for different classes of shares, which would have previously been necessary. We will simply give half the existing company to an employee ownership trust to hold on your behalf.
The other benefit of these changes is that everything is much more immediate and clearer, and we believe this clarity should be a real benefit to growing the company.
Hello. Before we look at the results, I just want to say how delighted I am to be part of the Nightingale story. I have now had time to get to know a number of you and see the potential this company has, and I look forward to working with you to take it to the next level. In regard to those results, there are three key factors that have impacted on them, which I want to refer to. Firstly, there was a change of leadership at Home Care, with Donna and Daisy leaving in June last year, Becky returning and Lauren taking over as manager. We are delighted to say that Paige was there to maintain stability, and these changes inevitably meant that there was some turbulence. However, despite this, and to the credit of the current team, the division still grew. Secondly, a key part of what we do within the homes is to help our residents get the most out of their final months and years. However, the timing of their parting is never certain. Some years we have very few changes in occupancy, but occasionally we have a year when there are a great many residents coming and going, as was the case with Nettlestead in the last financial year. Unfortunately, this was made worse by the third and extraordinary factor, COVID-19. The coronavirus was and continues to be a new challenge for us all, but one that you have all met with great courage and determination. You have kept COVID-19 out of the homes and, in no small part due to Fran and FundMe, made sure that the one home care client who was infected did not become a source of infection to others. A truly remarkable feat given the prevalence of the disease in other homes and domiciliary care services. However, the fact that homes were being hit so hard meant that people stopped looking to place their loved ones in any homes at any time when we had vacancies. Thankfully, this phase now seems to be passing, but it did mean we ran with a number of rooms empty. Rooms we could have filled had we been prepared to take COVID positive or untested potential residents, but we felt our first duty was to protect our existing residents. A consequence of these combined factors is an increase in our expenditure, what we call exceptional expenditure, or in other words, costs we did not normally or expect to incur. These were some 71% higher than last year. Bearing all of these factors in mind, our overall group income was 11% up. Overall profits were slightly down though, with EBITDA at 97.4% of the previous year. Admittedly, we set ambitious targets for 2019-2020, which although we did not hit, we still delivered a great set of results, which, all things considered, is remarkable. A credit to all divisions and you all. Proof, if I ever needed it, that I have joined a special company with a special collection of professionals. Further, when we look at some of the details within our results, Home Care is well and truly out of the previous year's doghouse, which you may recall how all the results were in the red last year, so their figures for 2019-2020 is an even more special result. Very well done. To heap even more praise on Home Care, this year the income is up 35% and the EBITDA 110% against the same periods last year. Way to go, Home Care team. More of it, please. Without such a strong contribution, the overall results of the group would look very different. But that is one of the advantages of having a diverse care company, looking after people in our homes and in theirs. Nettlestead's results delivered just below last year's income at 99.6%, but at 80.1% of last year's EBITDA, due in part to exceptional expenditure, but also increased costs overall. Priorsmead had a similar year, delivering 99.2% of last year's income and 87.5% of last year's EBITDA. Their exceptional expenditure was less, as was the level of increase in overall costs. What this combined set of results means for the earnout is that you are now 58% of the way there. The target was to be at 60% at this stage, and given the challenges of the last financial year, I believe we were in a strong position to catch up and overtake our earnout target of 10 years. Save we now don't have to. In view of your incredible response to the coronavirus, Nick and Sarah are altering the target to ensure we stay on course to complete the earnout within 10 years. This equates to a contribution to the Trust of £30,000. A big thanks to both of them from us all. I believe the new financial year we are now entering will allow us to claw back any lost momentum and drive the growth of the company to where we all want it to be, and I know we are all committed to delivering. And I personally look forward to working with you all to achieve this. Many thanks, and see you soon.
Looking to that future, whilst we will no longer be leading the company, we both feel we have someone more able in the form of Leo. As we see it, he brings together the best of mine and Sarah's skills, has far greater experience of growing companies, and is there to make sure it happens.
The first area he is looking at is making sure our foundations are right for growth. Whilst in the past we have known we were different to many care companies by being value-driven, Leo has already started discussing with many of you how we can make this more tangible by defining the Nightingale's Way.
He is also looking at making sure our procedures are clear enough to easily scale to new homes and home care areas, and how we can better use technology to support us, such as moving from paper to electronic forms, which is not only COVID friendly, but is more streamlined.
Thirdly, he's also working with Kim, Lauren and everyone in home care on how we can accelerate the growth of this division. Whilst the firm plan remains to acquire new homes, scaling home care is far easier as we do not need to create physical infrastructure, just recruit more great staff and attract clients who appreciate a quality service.
For Sarah and I, after 34 years of building the company with you, we had expected to be very much hands-on for another few years whilst we got Joe up to speed. But with Leo, he knows how to run a company. We just need to share with him the idiosyncrasies of Nightingales. So by September, we expect to have no day-to-day responsibilities, although we will continue to be a resource whenever we are needed, and still plan to be frequent visitors.
We continue to be full of optimism for the future of Nightingales, and with Leo at the helm, feel it stands a far better chance of growing than with us playing our role from a distance. There is no real substitute for being there.
We therefore want to sign off this virtual partners meeting by saying what a pleasure it has been working so closely with all of you, and to thank you for being such great colleagues. We also look forward with excitement to watching the next phase of Nightingales, knowing it is in such safe hands, albeit with some sadness that our roles will not be so involved as before. Thank you.
Thank you.